Hi everybody. So this month our focus is on mental health awareness. And so I think mental health in the last few years particularly, many of us are much more aware of our mental health, of the mental health of everyone around us. And maybe as a foundational aspect as we look and approach this month, I want us to first of all anchor ourselves in the fact that taking care of our mental health is anchored in self-care, which is not selfish, because I think, if we think about where we come from, when we take care of ourselves, we've often been told that we are selfish. So it's not selfish, it's actually quite radical. And so I just want to remind us of that. And I think it's Audre Lorde and a lot of our feminist ancestors have written about the importance of self-care and the fact that it's actually quite revolutionary. When we think about mental health, like why is mental health important for all of us? I think as a feminist, mental health for me is important because when we think about, it's just acknowledge that it exists, because I think a lot of people often feel really stigmatized when they own up to their mental health not being in an ideal space. So whether it is when people say, I am suffering from depression, when somebody says, I need some space for my mental health, there's still a lot of stigma. And so the one thing that I often think about, what do we need to communicate to each other? The fact is that the world around us makes us feel that taking care of my mental health is my problem. But actually, I think for those of us living in black and brown bodies that live with multiple intersecting identities that are often, experiencing systems of oppressions in particular way, our mental health is also as a result of how it is that we've had to move through those systems, whether it is racism, whether it is patriarchy, whether it is capitalism. All of those different isms have really contributed to our mental health. And then I think similarly, these various systems of oppression tell us that mental health is an individual issue, and it's not because we live in a particular system that continuously, I think, contributes to our ill-being rather than our well-being. So I think that is, for me, something that a first acknowledgement that we need to kind of take on for all of us is that mental health is all of our problems. And I think it's my mental health and your mental health is interconnected to each other. And so we also have the responsibility to check on each other and to help each other. So then going on to what does that mean, so kind of getting the theory out of the way, my feminist theory lesson 101 out of the way. What does that mean in terms of how it is we move through the world on a daily basis? I think the first thing is to prioritize your mental health, make it a priority. And for each of us, that looks very different, right? So for me, making it a priority, it is kind of creating space to check in with myself, making space to really look at and take care of mental health, whatever it is that I need. The second thing is to seek support. So there are two levels of support that I think we should consider thinking of when we think about seeking support. The first level is the community you surround yourself by, right? Like I make sure that people that I surround myself with, they contribute to me being well in the world. How I feel about myself, how I see myself, feeling valued, feeling seen. So surround yourself with a community that sees you, that values you, and that also wants you to be well. The second piece is seek professional help if you need it. I think seeking professional help is no longer as stigmatized as it used to be, right? So you can seek the help of a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a counselor. Each of those would offer you a very different type of support, but seek the support if you have that available to you. If you don't have it available to you, find out where they are. Like there are many initiatives nowadays that offer mental health support to individuals that may not necessarily have the means to do so. The third thing that I think is important is to set boundaries, right? Like, I think many of us struggle to set boundaries. I even struggle to set boundaries, and I think maybe the first level of setting boundaries is setting boundaries with yourself, right? Like, we don't even set boundaries with ourselves and say, I'm only gonna do up until this point, and now I need to take care of me. Like, in the last 3 years, my body has literally just shown me flames because I haven't done very well in setting boundaries with myself. So when my body doesn't want to do anymore, it literally shuts down, whether it gives me, like a migraine, whether it is that I can't focus. And so set those boundaries, whether it is with yourself, whether it is with your loved ones, but also in the places of work or with your interactions with other people. I think boundaries are definitely very important for me. And then I think the last piece for me is, find other places where you can also contribute to making sure that we do advocacy, so that mental health is not this thing that is only when you need it. It is actually part of how it is we move through the world. So I think my message for all of us is, let's prioritize mental health. Our mental well-being is really important for how it is we live in the world, how it is we move in the world, and yeah, for us also to experience our life in a way that isn't always about crisis, that isn't always about, all the bad things that's happening in the world, but also, where we can connect to joy, where we can connect to connection, playfulness, to just being the fullness of ourselves. So as you go through this month, go through it with that level of awareness and that commitment. Like, maybe just start with the commitment to your mental health, and then, see how you can extend that to another person, and then maybe even beyond. So I hope this message is helpful to you as you go through this month. Thank you very much for watching.